everyone, Miss Melior here, back with another video, and today's video was actually requested by more than one of my Instagram followers, so I hope that it's something that you will all find useful, and that is how I quit fast fashion. So we can start back to my first year of high school, because before that I was just a child. I mean, you're a kid in high school as well, but you kind of are entering your first sort of social circles, and there's just a lot going on at that age. So I think that's where I first started experimenting with fashion. And in my first year of high school, I actually went to a private school in Dubai, so I was wearing uniforms a lot, and I don't remember there ever being a kind of pressure to dress a certain way. We weren't allowed to wear makeup, so there was really no pressure. I don't remember fashion or having a lot of stuff being a core part of my identity or my confidence at the time. So I think it really started when I moved from Dubai to Arizona and started going to high school in the States. My sophomore year of high school, I attended one of the nicer high schools in the state. And so I was going to school with a lot of people who came from wealthier families, like the mayor's kids and just, wealthier kids. So there was a lot of pressure to dress a certain way and to look a certain way and to act a certain way. It was incredibly cliquey. It was just like the movies where, you know, the football players date the cheerleaders and everyone gets a locker, and there's like the cool kids who get invited to all the parties, and then there's the kids that you don't know. There were over 600 people in my grade alone, so it was a huge school. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. I'm not saying that the people were bad or I'm not hating on anyone. I'm just saying that's sort of the vibe that this high school had. If you weren't wearing like Tory Burch flip-flops, then you weren't on trend, you know? Navigating high school with your wardrobe, at least for me, I felt was really tricky. I remember having mountains of clothes in my walk-in closet. I had a walk-in closet, and there was still not enough space for all the stuff that I had. And I was constantly, messaging my friends like, oh, can I borrow this from you? Because I've already worn this. Do you want to wear this? Because I've already worn it. And it was such a huge deal to outfit repeat. Like it was a sin. It's just something you didn't do. And getting ready for school, I would wake up super early to make sure that, my legs were shaved, my eyebrows were on point. I was doing my makeup every single day. On days that we had cross country, we had to be at school at 5 for practice, and we would shower and get ready in the lockers, and we would, make sure that we would be late for first period sometimes if we felt like our hair wasn't good enough or our makeup wasn't good enough. And that was just kind of how it was. So that sort of sets the scene for the habits that I had all through high school. So that's 3 years of high school. Constantly buying new clothes, constantly worried about wearing the right thing and looking good, shorts that were too short, that sort of thing. These habits are really bad, and I think for a lot of girls, it sticks with them as they grow up and go to university. I think a lot of the universities in the States have the same culture. I do know a lot of people personally who still, even though they're through with university, have this sort of mentality that they can't outfit repeat. They have to have a bunch of different clothes, constantly buying from fast fashion brands because it's cheap, it's quick, it's easy, and they can get a different look. And even when I moved to university from Arizona, I moved to Budapest to go to medical school, I carried this habit with me. I brought all of my stuff with me. I brought my love for fashion and trends and fast fashion brands, Too Hungry, with me. And through university, I mixed with kids from all over, mostly Europe, who didn't wear a lot of makeup to class. They dressed nice, but it wasn't on trend all the time. It wasn't like Instagrammable. It was just, simple clothes that were high quality, that they felt comfortable in. And it was medical school, so it was really intensive, and it was really intense. So we were focused on our studies most of the time, and no one really cared about who was who and who was wearing what. So my habits or my value as a person kind of the way I viewed my value. Does that make sense? The way I viewed myself as a person slowed and shifted, and I stopped waking up so early to get ready. I stopped wearing makeup every day. I stopped caring so much about if my clothes were the newest or the coolest, and I feel like I really matured through that. But the sustainable aspect didn't kick in first. I actually got into minimalism first. And this started when I left medical school and was beginning my new life with entrepreneurial dreams. I joined a mentorship program and I met a ton of people who own their own business. When we would go to these mentorship programs, without coordinating, everyone would show up and everyone would just be in a white t-shirt and jeans or a black t-shirt and jeans. And these people did not own a lot of material items. They valued quality over quantity, and that's just not what they were into. They were really into just providing value through their business. What is their business about? How are they servicing people? What is it they're bringing to the world? And they genuinely were not concerned with who was wearing what, who was the flashiest. They had nothing to prove. And I learned and quickly how to respect that. And I was just in awe of it. The whole culture of this entrepreneurial, I'm babbling now. Okay. The entire entrepreneurial culture really charmed me. And I wanted to be more like them. And so I started on a journey with minimalism. And I remember I was watching the minimalism documentary. And I remember the only thing I really hoarded besides clothes were these Starbucks mugs that we got whenever we traveled. We being my family, ever since I was young, we would collect these Starbucks mugs. And I remember I had a whole bunch of them in my kitchen cabinet in my apartment in Budapest. And I was watching the minimalism documentary and thinking about, okay, this is how I'm going to donate my clothes. I'm going to slim down my wardrobe. I'm going to be more neutral in my tones and really kind of muted in my fashion. And then I thought, okay, what am I going to do with these mugs? And as I was watching the movie, I just hear this loud bang in my kitchen, and I ran into my kitchen and the cabinet had fallen off the wall and all of my mugs were shattered. It was pretty heartbreaking at the time, but it was also kind of a big coincidence and a relief that it was kind of okay, so I can really start this minimalist journey without any kind of collection of any kind. And then I just stopped collecting them on my travels. My parents still have some and my brother still have some, so it's still a sentimental thing that we have, but my personal collection it's just dust now. Anyway, through minimalism, I started to pick up here and there that it was actually better for the environment, and I was learning why, and I would get hints about overproduction and overconsumption, and this was sort of how it was introduced to me. And it wasn't until I started really thinking about what kind of business that I wanted to run. I knew that I wanted it to be, good is such a lame word. I wanted it to be something that was either charitable and provided to an underprivileged hospital. That's actually how I got my start in business. This is a whole different story, but I started with a project that was raising money for a hospital that I had worked in Ghana, Africa. So I thought I wanted it to be something like that, or something that was, just really good or helpful or something, I didn't want to just start any old clothing line or, any old service. I wanted it to have a really high, a higher purpose. And that's when I, just through a really long process, again, a different story, founded Melior Handbags, learning about how awful leather is for the environment. And from that, it sort of trickled into sustainability in fashion with clothing. And I remember I was watching True Cost with my brother in 2017. He came to visit me for my birthday. And when I saw that documentary, that's when my eyes just opened to everything. And I thought, okay, this is what I want to do with my wardrobe and my habits. I want to be sustainable in the most ways that I can. And I want to spread this message and help others, make it easy to do and transition to, and we can all make a difference together. So I quit fast fashion cold turkey watching True Cost, or at least I tried to. It didn't go that well. I think the last time I bought myself a pair of Mango shoes on my birthday. They were nude. They were beautiful. I still have them. I love them. And I think I quit fast fashion after watching True Cost. And it was only 3 months later that I bought something from H&M. I thought I needed a dress for New Year's or whatever it was. And then I, reprimanded myself, forgave myself, and then tried to go longer without it. And it wasn't until I started finding nifty, thrifty ways to get clothing that it became easy to kick fast fashion, because when you have an alternative source for things that you need, the bad source, of course, becomes easier to let go of. And I've developed like a really good sense of what I actually need, what I have in my wardrobe. I don't buy much. I think I've only bought one thing this month so far. And like, I don't have this habit, or not even habit, like addiction to buying clothes, and I don't feel like I need them. I just buy them for fun from ethical and sustainable sources. If I feel like there's something missing in my wardrobe, or I see a beautiful piece and I want to treat myself or something that's like authentic vintage, you get what I'm trying to say. So that was in 2017. It's 2020 now. It took me maybe 8 or 9 months to completely kick fast fashion, and I've been without it ever since. I am not a minimalist. I've completely failed in that department, but I am eco-friendly and sustainable in the way that I source my clothes, and I'm constantly learning and researching how to be even more eco-friendly in my wardrobe. So it's a journey that I am still on. I am not the master of zero waste or sustainable fashion by any means.